Hey guys, how's it going? Pale Quill here. This is a little late, so I apologize. I kind of been slacking a little bit, and I was busy at school, so those things added up for me to being a little late on this. But it's only been 5 days, so it's not too bad. But I am gonna go over the 11.23 update details. So first up, we got two new units, Tech, and for the light side, we have the AT-RT Walker. 7 energy, you get 2 of them. They're kind of like mini ATSTs that shoot everything, I guess. They're basically giant walkers. There's 2 of them, and they're really quick. Move at 4.5 speed. Do decent damage. Like DPS 97, it's not great, crazy good, but it's also not really bad either. They got decent health. Big thing about these guys is they can also jump over obstacles, so if you stick them down the middle, they'll jump over the middle things. And they are single target. These things, I think, were a long time coming. Light side needed some decent tech. Basically, they had AT-AP, which was too high a mana cost for it to really see play. You might see it every once in a while, but... And then they have the tank, which was alright, but it was super hard to protect, and it didn't really pack the punch that you would want for 6 energy. So these guys, they're really good. Do tons of damage, have tons of health, and they're not affected by nerve gas, Deoxys, all that fun stuff that Empire wants to nuke you with in your organics. So these are going to be seen in a lot of decks. They might not fit in everything because they're 7 energy, but I think a lot of people are playing them now. It remains to be seen because a lot of people only have them level 9 from the shop, but once they get to like 14 and 15, they might see a little nerf, but it's hard to tell right now. But these guys are definitely needed, especially because they're great against the ATST. Shuts that meta down pretty good. Next up, we got the Dwarf Spider Droid, 5 energy, tech. This one's a little weird because it doesn't have the greatest health in the world, but it's also not bad either. Like 680, let's say compared to like the B1 droids, B2, sorry. Sorry, just gotta find them. Well, we can also compare them to these two. So these have a little less health. So if you kind of know what the stormtroopers do, they're kind of like that, but just one of them. Yeah, 680, 630. So it's a little tankier than one of the battle droids. So it's not too bad. Like, you don't really have to worry about AoE too much because it's kind of ineffective against one of them. That's the big thing with these guys. It should survive like the new TIE Fighter and stuff. So it's still got decent health. DPS isn't too bad. But the big thing about it, it also does AoE damage. It's got slow move speed, so that's kind of what you want in it. It's kind of a replacement for Dewback, I think, since Rays are running around now. I don't think you'll see it play until it's leveled up, because it needs to be tanky. For 5 energy, you can't just have it die to like a bomber or something like that. So eventually, I think this is a decent card, pretty good. Its AoE was something that Darkseid lacked, so it's going to be helpful there. In that case, and to be honest, I think this is gonna work real well with Droidekas as well. It's kind of you're gonna switch between like Dewback and MTV towards like Spider and Droideka, because it ends up being both about the same thing, and you get the AoE. So yeah, you might not see these for a bit, but once you do, they're probably gonna be pretty strong. First up, all right, for balance changes. I know a lot of people did not like the balance changes to the heroes, but we'll go over them. First off, we got Yoda. He's gets an extra 3 damage, and his ability gets an extra 50%. What they say here is they want him to be the strongest leader in a 1v1. So I can see this for the attack power. Like, 3 attack power is not too big. This is a little bit more. Like, his ability, I think, was kind of kept up in check. Because it was kind of useless. Like, you could do it if you planned well. But it made up for the fact that he could dodge and he could jump around and stuff. So I think the 50% isn't needed. I know a lot of people are freaking out, but I'll also go over another thing too when I get to the next one. So keep Yoda in mind for when I go over the dark side change. We got Ben Kenobi reduced from 6 to 5. I think it was needed. He wasn't going to see any play because of all the tech meta going around. But I think you might see him now, because for 5 energy, he's actually a pretty decent body. I think I have him at level 1. But yeah, he's got like 1385, which isn't great, but he does a fair amount of DPS. His move speed's not the greatest. But it's one of those things. For 5 energy, he doesn't have the greatest health. But you get him to like level 4 or 5, he's going to be pretty good. And then if FO Riot Troopers become a thing, he's going to be super good. Because that's the thing with him too. If you take over anything for 5 energy, like even Stormtroopers, he's probably pretty worth it. Like this kind of body for 3 energy basically is still really good. The problem is if you can never take over anybody, it kind of sucks. But like I said, it's not too bad now. I think most people would probably use Kenobi. Unless you keep running into Grievouses that don't have Sand Troopers. But he's a lot more useful than he was at 6 energy. The Y-Wing, the same with the Bomber on Dark Side 2, but increases the damage by a hell of a lot. It's like 270? A little less. I think everybody was complaining about this, but I kind of like it. It's gonna suck. The only thing that sucks is kind of like Hera. Hera's gonna be super annoying, but everybody's like, oh, they're just gonna bomb your tower. And it's like, okay, well, if they're just bombing my tower for 4 energy, that's fine with me. I think it quickens the pace, which is nice. So you're not like trying to backspawn stuff as much because it might just get nuked when it gets to the tower. So it makes you push more, and then like I said, if they bomb just your tower, you're gonna have a decent energy advantage to push into it. So I actually don't mind this. A lot of people didn't like it, but I think it makes the games more aggressive, which is nice. Rebel Demolisherist. Can't talk, but I think this is a really good change. It basically doubles the damage to vehicles. They're kind of useless unless they're attacking tower. So this makes them kind of like a little bit more versatile because there's a lot more vehicles running around, like MTV, ATST. And also the dark side guys get the same buff, but I think it makes them a little bit better. It makes them a little more versatile, a little easier to use. Then we go to the dark side. Like with Yoda, Darth Maul gets a buff. His cooldown for his revive gets decreased by 20 seconds. And when you revive, you get an extra 50%. And a lot of people were bitching about this. And to be honest, it's not that big of a difference. If you're not dying in the first minute, you're not even going to notice this. So, if you're really good with Maul, you're going to take advantage of it, but... So basically, this is the big one. 20 seconds, but it's hard to take advantage of it sometimes, because you got to basically die, like, right on the 60 seconds. Otherwise, it's not worth it. And, like, it's not... The 10% is basically... I think at level 5... I don't have it at level 5. Wait, I'm on the wrong side, but... So, level 3... You basically get 130 back. And 10% of that... It's like 13... So, 143... And then 14. So you basically get like 150 health back at level 5. which is basically just one tower shot. So this isn't that big of a deal. It looks bigger because 10% is a lot. It just makes it seem a lot bigger. But the thing is with Darth Maul and the Yoda buffs, it's not the greatest things in the world. They don't really need it. Like, they should be working on other heroes. But it also, they're both aggro heroes, so it kind of makes, like, the same thing with the bombers. It makes the game faster and more aggressive, I think, in my opinion. So instead of having to sit back and wait for like 3 minutes, they're going to be attacking you. You're going to have to defend, but then you can also attack as well. So there's more action, which I always like. I might be in the minority, but I always like more fighting. TIE Bomber, same thing as Y-Wing. Just Y-Wing always did a little bit more damage. So yeah, same thing. Rocket Trooper, same thing for Rebels. More damage. I think it's nice. Deal to vehicles. Makes them more versatile. They nerf gas. They lower the range, or I guess the area of effect, and decrease the duration. So basically, it's 1 less second, and a little smaller. I don't think this, like, the area of effect was that big of a deal, because you're basically like using it to defend your troops. But I think more or less the ATRTs are more of a nerf to nerf gas than these. I would like to see maybe the damage reduced a little bit, because like that's the biggest thing with nerf gas. The reduced damage is insane. With the lowered attack speed, it's just oppressive. But like I said, ATRT not affected, so this kind of takes a big hit. And then Umbrian soldiers increase their attack power. That wasn't the problem with them. They actually did a fairly amount of high DPS. They probably do a fair amount more now, which is nice, but they just die. For 4 energy, they just die way too easily. Especially, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to have Bomber or TIE Fighter in the deck now. There's some sort of AoE coming from Rebels, like Ion Mine wrecks them, Bomber wrecks them, you know, X-Wing wrecks them. So that's not the problem with them. It's kind of the same thing with like Heavy Gunners and Assassins. It's just a good AoE too easily. If these guys ever get changed to 3 energy, you see them like running around like crazy. Or if they survive an Ion Mine. But until then, these guys are still useless. Other changes, Kylo Ren Ray image has been modified. I don't think you guys really care. But here's looking at them. Basically, I think they just changed his face. You see the mark, made him look a little bit better. And then for Rey, they just kind of fixed her face a little bit, I think. She looks a little bit more human than before. Damage per second has been added to Rocket Stormtrooper and Rebel Demolishes. I can't pronounce that thing for some reason. Not a big deal. And decrease the difficulty of tactical challenges. Nothing nobody cares about. So yeah, those are my thoughts about this update. To be honest, I actually like this update. I know a lot of people don't. I wish they would have buffed like some of the lower tier heroes, like GI and Sabine, but they're not around there yet. I think it makes everything a little bit more fast-paced. Both these new units are really good. ATRT is something Rebels really needed. We'll have to see if it stays the way it is, but it's super good. And I think Darth Spider will eventually get up there as well. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this. If you have any comments, leave them below. And I will talk to you guys later.